Well, hello everybody, it's BugEater64 and welcome back to AirHAuler2. Now, gonna explain a little something that I did today before I show you my first flight. I found out with my Virtual Airline that in AirHAuler2 from my Prepare 3D version, I had over $6 million in the Virtual Airline. When I got the X-Plane version and brought it up, I'm still running the exact same company name and so on, it transferred that $6 million to my Virtual Airline. So let's take a look at my Virtual Airline. Look at company info. Alrighty, and it says, like right now I have $215,000 because I just did the first leg on one of the flights. Okay, I was able to, well, let's go back, William. My goodness, I'm so silly at times. But anyway, I was able to withdraw cash from my Virtual Airline account and transfer it to my, what I call the single player AirHAuler2 account, which has the same name, Air America Duet. So I had $6 million plus, dollars. I transferred the $6 million over to my AirHAuler2 account, where I just had my Pantera. And by doing that, I was started the career mode, of course, had very little money. Transferring that money over made it possible for me to purchase another airplane, and I have purchased my C-47 DC-3. So my AeroWorks version that I love so much. So we'll be doing flights in that very soon. But that being said, I went to fly because we got over in my Virtual Airline. I had the Cessna C208B from Carenado, and I had that in my Virtual Airline. So I picked a couple missions from my other AirHauler and transferred them over here. Now I've only got one left because I did one leg earlier, and was going to do that flight in the Cessna 208. That would have been great. Well, it turns out that I did not have, when it transferred the aircraft from the AirHauler2 and P3D over to my X-Plane version, it sent the aircraft, it sent the money, it didn't send the pilot rating. Ouch. So I had these missions that had to get done. The one that I've already flown, I only had 13 hours left to get that completed or take a hit. So I went ahead and had to go back to my regular company business. Now you're seeing that I have 4 aircraft. I've got my Pantera. I have the DC-3, which will be on base in a little over 5 hours. I have the C208 Cessna, the Caravan, which I had to buy in order to take my rating check ride. I already had the 208 in Virtual Air, but I wasn't able to transfer it from my Virtual Airline over here to AirHauler2. So I had to buy another one, which means, I hired one crew member to fly the Pantera. Now I can hire another one to fly the 208 in my regular account. And I've got my Virtual Airline 208 that I'm flying in here. We'll be adding aircraft to that too. But the nice thing is, if I go here and I look at available jobs and I find jobs that I want to fly, I can click on those jobs. I can use my AI pilots that I hire to fly in my regular account. I can choose jobs that I want to fly here, and I can go down to this tab and it says transfer to VA, and I can transfer those missions over to my virtual airline, and then I can fly them and help build up the virtual airline. I'll let my AI pilots build up my business here, and then I will go to my virtual airline and I will fly. But I had to take my rating flight in my regular account and not my virtual airline account. Sounds a little confusing, I'm sure, and I'm sorry for that, but that's just the way it worked. So if I could have, moved the aircraft between virtual airline account and regular account, that would have been awesome. I wouldn't have had to buy another airplane right away. But I can take funds back and forth apparently without issue. So that's how that worked. So with that, let's get with it, and I'll show you how the flight went today in the Cessna 208 Bravo made by Carenado. So we'll see you on the inside. Okay, so here we are in the Carenado C208B Caravan, and getting the GTN 750 that I use for my navigation and so on in this airplane instead of the Garmin 430 that's it's already equipped with. This has worked really well, and we've got things set up. I'm just trying to get it sized so when I do the pop-up it shows up right there, and doesn't cover up my other items. So with that, let's go ahead and get things going here, and let's see what we got. Here we go. First of all, we're in the airplane. Now we want to get set up here and get the flight started for my virtual airline. So we're going to fly now. I have to go up here and make sure that it's chosen my virtual airline aircraft. Now I can go ahead and load, and for this particular leg we want to take everything we can from this one mission. So we load up the airplane, we've got full load, we got plenty of fuel. We're going to do a direct flight basically to March Air Force Base, and that's it. We should be ready to get the airplane started and be on our way. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. Alright, taxi lights are on. Kind of turn them on in early. Close that. And fuel boost on. Let's get the engine started. And being a turboprop, you can hear the turbines running up. And we are parked here in front of the Air America Duet hangar at KWJF, our home base. And across the parking ramp and taxiway there, you can see Solus Wings. That's my good friend Dion Soul. That's his virtual airline business at KWJF. This is our home base for both of them. And we're going to be working together in the virtual airline, so we'll see how things go. Right now we're both learning the ins and outs of AirHAuler2 for X-Plane. So let's get out here to runway 24, because ATIS says that's the one that we're flying out of. So the wind has changed Normally we take off from runway 6, but today the wind had changed direction, so 24 was the response. And it's a short flight. It's only a little over 70 miles. So we're going to come up here and double check everything, make sure we're ready to go, and then we will head out onto the taxiway, the runway, and we will take off. Check out the altitude that we're going to be flying at, because we do have some hills to go over. So we need about 7,500 feet. I'll give us a little bit more. And I've got the battery overheating flickering, and it does that from time to time, but anyway, let's get the landing lights on, taxi lights off. We've got our nav and beacon lights. We don't need the strobe. And we're just going to get out here on the runway and rolling start. Runway 24 at KWJF, Lancaster, California. Beautiful weather today. Must be because I'm using active sky and there isn't a cloud in the sky. So but we'll get in the air and get on our way and hope everything goes well. Alright, just fly our route. We're ready to go. Everything's working with AirHAuler2, so sit back, enjoy the flight. Okay, well, we are here. We're on our approach into March Air Force Base. Make our delivery of cargo. Had some issues there with the GTN 750. It suddenly popped up a message that my GTN software was out of date and it quit working. So I had to redo my flight plan in the Garmin 430 so that it would work properly. And as you can see, we've got, you know, the approach and everything in there. We got our ATIS information about which runway we're going to land on. So here we are, and you can see the runway straight ahead. We also, as we came over the mountains and got into the Riverside Valley area of Southern California, we started hitting clear air turbulence, and you can see the airplane getting bounced around pretty good. So but we're coming in okay. And other than that little navigational glitch, flight has gone just the way it's supposed to. No issues. The plane's working great. Yeah, no problems whatsoever. Yeah, we're getting bounced pretty good. Bouncing from 1,000 feet a minute descent to where we're supposed to be about 500 feet descent. It's kicking us around pretty good. My active sky for XP didn't tell me about this. Get a new weatherman. Okay. And PAPI lights aren't looking too bad right now. I see red and white. I now have the aircraft autopilot released. And in AirHAuler2, we do get rated on our landings, so the smoother the better. And when we get down and land it, I'll use the reversers, although as long as this runway is, don't really need them, but I just want to make sure that my HOTOS is set up properly.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And nice little touchdown about now. Alright, butter landing, we'll take it. Hit the reversers. And apply a little bit of brake. Yeah, everything's fine. So we are down safely at March Air Force Base, Riverside, California. And we've got a big pad up here. We're just going to pull around and park there and end this flight. Alrighty, that about does it right about there. So we'll go ahead and get the parking brake on. And get this little lady engine stop. Mixture and RPMs done. Turn off the avionics. Turn off the battery. So that's that. And now that we're here and ready to unload our cargo, we can go ahead and take a look at that landing one more time. All right. So that was the landing. Now let's get to the business at hand. And here we are. So we need to unload our cargo. So they've accepted our cargo. Excellent. And life is good. So that little 70-mile flight made us almost $10,000 for our virtual airplane. That's pretty good. And we got a rating for a smooth landing. So excellent. Yes, and the crowd goes wild because we actually made money. That was fun. Alrighty, well, as I said earlier, we completed the job. We've got one job left that goes from L65, which is right down here, which is Paris Valley Airport. I used to parachute jump out there back in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. That's really cool. And we're going to pick up cargo from there, it's not much, it's 339 pounds of coffee, and we're going to fly it the 77 miles back to KWJF. That way, we made a flight out to basically March Air Force Base with cargo, drop that off. We're going to fly empty over here to L65, which is just a skip and jump away, and then we're going to fly back to KWJF. So I'll do that probably tomorrow, because I've got 2 days and 2 hours and 53 minutes to get it done. And as you see, it doesn't pay much. It's only $2,882, but it pays for our gas and helps keep the lights on in the business. So we'll be doing that at a later date, but today's flight went extremely well. Had some problems with my GTN. Apparently my software went out of date, and so it wasn't working, so I had to go back to using the Garmin 430, and that took a little finagling, but it all worked well. It flew the approach perfectly, and we got a butter landing out of it. So no complaints there whatsoever. Sure had a lot of fun with it. Hope you folks enjoyed coming along with the ride. It was a short flight, but had a lot of fun with it, and hope you don't mind Fred here. He's not feeling a little quite too well right now. You know how these zombies are. But anyway, I hope you had a lot of fun with the flight. I had a lot of fun bringing it to you. And until next time, this is Bug Eater 64, and as always, please be safe and safe flying.